This little bonus Easter holidays video for you guys, and I've called it Mr. Lowe's top 3 ways to revise. Now, as you guys know, the exams are coming up very quickly. Look at this for a quick second. Oh my goodness. Paper 1, your first GCSE exam, the medicine in Britain and the historic environment, is Thursday the 19th of May. That is coming up very, very, very soon. So we need to start revising in your Easter holidays a little bit, I'm afraid. You need to get some revision done so you're prepared, especially for this first exam coming up in May, the 19th of May. That's pretty soon. That's just over a month. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of revision for these topics in your history lessons, but you've got to do some revision yourself at home. So I've put together a little video here on ways you can revise at home. So my top 3 ways to revise. Number 1, I'll put it right at the top here. It's called check, cover, write and check. And this is something that my daughter uses to learn spellings at school. It's a little bit primary school, but it is really helpful. Let me show you how this works in practice. You get yourself a list of basic dates. I've got one here on Elizabethan England, okay? And I've got loads of dates down the side and then what happens on that particular date. Now, as you know, for your history exam, you need to learn some facts. You need to have some evidence at your disposal with the accurate dates. And this first one here, which I've called check, cover, write and check, is really, really simple. You'll check through, have a look at those, and then using another piece of paper, you'll either cover up, you could perhaps cover up the information on one side, or if you wanted to, you could flip it over and just cover up the dates. And then as a revision activity with your pen, you go through and you think, okay, so what was the date for that one? And you write as many as you can. That's obviously the right part. And then you just go, right, have I got them right? And you check your answers. Do that a few times. It will really help you learn those key dates and those key bits of information. So that is my top tip number 1. Back to this one. Check, cover, write and check. Right, number 2. It's not some kind of weird zombie ritual. It's a brain splurge. Or if you want to be a bit more boring, it's a mind map. Now, these are very old school, but you can't beat a good mind map. So look at an example here for a Weimar and Nazi Germany mind map. Look at that. I've just started off with one topic, right in the centre, challenges for the Weimar government from 1919 to 23. I put a lovely brainy pink splurge around the edge. And I'm just literally going out thinking, right, what can I remember to check my understanding and knowledge? And what I'd do is I'd use my pen, I'd add extra stuff. So I might add here, World War I, betrayed. I say politicians betrayed army, and hopefully you've got nicer handwriting. You might go and think, oh, hang on a second, I remember a fact for this one. I could say that the price of bread went from 1 mark to 200 billion marks for loaf. And that's again a nice little bit of evidence. If you did that and you just keep on going, adding extra facts, splurging, you can remember that perhaps 132 billion gold marks is how much they had to pay under the Treaty of Versailles. Any of those things, that again will just help you practice that knowledge. You could do absolutely anything for any of your 3 topics with a good old-fashioned brain splurge. And again, like I said, they don't have to be neat or tidy. You can just literally get it all down. It's helping you access that knowledge and remember for the exam. Okay, so those are both good for evidence. But as you guys know, the hardest thing you need to do in the exam is work on your explain skills. Here we go, I put it in red here. Number 3, evidence and explain. This is the toughest and the most valuable of the ways you need to revise. You get lots of marks. If you want to get to those higher levels, the grades 6, 7 and 8, maybe even a 9, you need to make sure you're explaining your evidence. So a new method, I'm just sort of trialing a bit here, and let me know if you find this useful, is the whole evidence and explain. What I suggest you do, and you can use your revision guide, you can ask me, or you can just think of them yourself. All I've done at the top is put a controversial statement, the sort of thing that might come up in your 16-mark question. So for example, the church stopped change or progress in medicine in the medieval period. And what I'm challenging myself to do here, and this is a hard thing to do, but it's hard for a good reason. I've put some evidence down this side, and I could do all the way down if I wanted to, and then I've tried to explain why that evidence applies to the statement. Okay, let me give you an example. So for example, one bit of evidence: most hospitals are run by monasteries and abbeys. Now you can all tell me that, that's great, but those of you who want bigger marks in the exam need to explain why that piece of evidence is useful. So I put there, look, well actually, if hospitals are run by monasteries and abbeys, by treatment from the monks and nuns, well that means that actually the focus is on care, not cure. And I challenge you more to add a therefore, or this means that. And I'd get my pen, and I've left this deliberately blank to give a bit of extra for you. These are great phrases, therefore, or this means that. They're great phrases to help you explain. And we're looking at why the church is stopping change. Therefore, the hospitals are sticking, I apologise for my dodgy writing as I hold the camera at the same time, to caring, not looking to change or progress. Okay, and we're making sure that we explain here why that piece of evidence means there's no change in the medieval period. Another example here, we've got a better example down here. Church published all medical books copied out by monks, okay? And we can say here, the reason there's no change is because only church-approved ideas were spread. No challenging new theories was allowed. So we're going back to this therefore, this meant that. Great phrases you can use. Now, those are all good, but I will just go back to my final point here, guys. You've got your check, cover, right check. Your good old brain splurge. We're looking at how we can use evidence and then explain it further. And finally, don't forget revision cards. Now, actually, I was going to put that in a future video, so we'll come back to revision cards on the next video on the YouTube. But remember, if in doubt, drop your history teacher a message, and I'll leave that there as your last little point. Look at how close the exams are. Final push, make sure you're doing some revision. Best of luck.